This video is brought to you by Brilliant. Today, Joe Biden faces an impeachment probe. Guatemala's president-elect suspends the transition process, a cruise ship is stranded in remote Greenland, and more. From TLDR News, this is your daily briefing for Wednesday, the 13th of September 2023. President Joe Biden could well become the fourth president in American history to be impeached. So far, only Andrew Johnson, Bill Clinton and Donald Trump have suffered this indignity, with the latter of these actually being impeached twice. This week, senior Republican Kevin McCarthy announced a formal impeachment inquiry after claiming that a culture of corruption had been unearthed around the president. The inquiry will look at specific business dealings from different members of the Biden family. One of the biggest issues the inquiry will look into is the claim that the Biden family and their associates had received more than $20 million in payments from foreign sources, such as China, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Russia and Romania. Kentucky Republican James Comer, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, the organization that made this claim, said that Hunter Biden, the son of the president, sold his father as a brand to reap millions from oligarchs. Comer went on to argue that no real services were provided and that the payments appeared to just be for access to Joe Biden. Devon Archer, a former business partner of Hunter Biden, said that Joe Biden was put on speakerphone with potential business associates maybe 20 times over a 10-year period. This is used to try and discredit Joe Biden's claims that he has never discussed business deals with his son. In addition to this corruption claim, the Republicans have also focused on an unverified tip that Joe Biden pressured Ukraine's government to fire a prosecutor that was looking into an energy firm that Hunter Biden was on the board of. The Justice Department did look into this claim for 8 months when Trump was president, but found nothing. While an impeachment inquiry is happening, it's not yet clear how likely it will be that the House will actually vote to impeach Joe Biden. Most Democrats and even some Republicans say that the case for opening this inquiry may be among the weakest ever for a sitting president. So Democrats don't seem to be too worried. Here's how Democratic Senator from Pennsylvania, John Fetterman, responded. There's more on the way, but be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to make the daily briefing part of your daily routine, or just search for us on your podcast app to listen along. On Wednesday morning, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen delivered her annual State of the Union speech to the European Parliament and touched on the prospect of EU enlargement by endorsing the idea of a European Union of 30-plus members. She said, "We have proven that we can be a geopolitical union and showed we can move fast when we are united. And I believe that Team Europe also works at 30-plus." Some 9 countries are various distances along the path to EU membership, including Ukraine, Moldova and Georgia, and also Western Balkan countries like Serbia, North Macedonia, Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina and others. Some of this latter group have been waiting well over a decade, resulting in growing frustration at the slow speed of progress. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has renewed the EU's focus on enlargement, but von der Leyen reiterated that accession to the EU is merit-based, meaning candidates have to meet the strict criteria for entry, which she conceded is not an easy road. Last month, European Council President Charles Michel said the EU should set an ambitious target to bring in new members by 2030. But this timeline would be a real push, given the reforms needed in candidate countries, but also the structural reforms that the EU itself will have to go through if it wants to function with up to 36 members. If you're interested in this subject, then we've got a full video on EU enlargement coming out on TLDR News EU on Thursday, so keep an eye out for that. Guatemala's president-elect Bernardo Arévalo has suspended his participation in the transition process following the raids on electoral facilities by officials from the top prosecutor's office. It's the latest sign that Arévalo, an anti-corruption candidate who won a surprise victory in August, faces an uphill struggle to actually take office in January. Arévalo is calling for the resignation of Guatemala's Attorney General after agents raided the Supreme Electoral Tribunal and opened dozens of boxes of votes. The latest raid comes just a day after outgoing President Alejandro Giammattei reiterated his commitment to an orderly, transparent transition. Arevalo described the raid as flagrant crimes of abuse of authority for electoral purposes and notified President Giammattei that he would temporarily suspend his involvement in the transition process while the necessary institutional political conditions are re-established. President Giammattei said he disagreed with Arevalo's decision and reiterated his, quote, firm willingness to immediately resume the transition process as soon as the elected authorities request it. Observers have warned that Guatemala has seen its democracy backslide and corruption increase in recent years, so Arevalo's victory was hailed by his supporters as a chance to fight corruption and reinforce the Central American country's democracy. However, during and after the election campaign, there have been attempts to bar his party, prompting local and international outcry. A luxury cruise ship carrying hundreds of people has run aground in remote northeastern Greenland. No injuries or damage has been reported, but the situation is being taken very seriously, according to Denmark's Joint Arctic Command, as the weather can be unfavourable and the nearest help is days away by sea. The closest Danish vessel is around 1,200 nautical miles away, meaning it could reach the grounded cruise ship called the Ocean Explorer by Friday morning at the earliest. The Ocean Explorer is carrying 206 people and is operated by Aurora Expeditions, a firm specialising in trips to some of the most wild and remote destinations on the planet, including Alpefjord in the northeast Greenland National Park. There had been some hopes that the cruise ship might be dislodged and set free by the high tide. However, Danish Arctic Command said the tide that came in during the day did not provide the desired help to sail on. In other words, the ship is still stuck. Danish Arctic Command has requested another cruise ship, which is closer to the Ocean Explorer, to remain in the area in case the situation changes. However, the command said, in this specific situation, we do not see any immediate danger to human life or the environment, which is reassuring. In the final uplifting story today, we discuss a stolen Van Gogh painting. Back in March 2020, Van Gogh's Spring Garden painting was stolen from a Dutch museum and has been missing ever since. An art detective has, this week, been handed the painting in a pillow and an IKEA bag by a man who came to his door. Back in 2021, the criminal who stole the artwork was arrested and jailed for 8 years. The artwork was not recovered, though it had already changed hands. The recovery of the painting is obviously good news for the art world. Now, you just spent around 8 minutes watching a video to help you learn about the world around you, and that feels good, right? Well, that's the feeling you get from spending time learning and bettering yourself. And if you want to do this more, then we have good news. Long-term supporter of the channel, Brilliant, are giving the first 200 people who sign up using our link 20% off their annual premium subscription. Brilliant is an interactive online learning platform which is full of all kinds of courses which can help you improve your career and further improve your understanding of the world. They have more than 100 courses on everything from predicting with probability to how technology works to the concept of infinity. And these may sound like topics that you need to dedicate a lot of your time to, but you really don't. You can master big concepts in as little as 15 minutes a day, and you can do this anywhere, anytime. You can find the link in the description below. Thanks for watching, and thanks again to Brilliant for supporting TLDR.